from Web Marketing Clinic. Hello, Alex.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, guys. Morning.
So Alex is going to talk to you this morning. She's going to give you some tips on writing for practitioners. So basically how to be better at writing everything from your web copy to your social captions. Cool. Okay, so Alex has got a presentation. We're gonna, if you tuned into some of the other webinars we've done this week, we're gonna do this one a little bit differently because I'm actually gonna come in at one point in the presentation and give you some of my expertise as a journalist when we talk about, Alex has got a section in there just to talk about writing press releases and editorial. So I'm gonna jump in. So I think we're both gonna stay on video. As we go through the slides, I think Alex and I might just have a chat and chip in a little bit, and then I will hopefully be able to share something useful when it comes to writing for journalists.
No pressure.
No pressure. Okay, Alex, if you want to start sharing your screen. Yeah, so just as before, if you've got any questions, pop them in the Q&A box. We've got someone moderating them. And then I think rather than doing a Q&A at the end, I'll probably just feed them in as we go through.
Can you see that, mate?
Yeah, I can see.
In presenter view or normal view?
I can see it in normal view with the slides down the side, but it's a bit of a delay for it loading. Yeah, so questions we will feed through. First thing on a Friday morning. It's been a long week, so we thought we'd do it a bit differently and hopefully try and keep everyone's attention by having a chat. Okay. Cool. Ready when you are, Alex. I think
is that working? Yeah.
I can see you, I can see me, and I can see the screen share. I can't see it full screen, but as long as you can click through, I think we should be fine.
Is that better?
I've got a loading thing and a bit of a delay. Yeah, someone's just saying slides haven't uploaded yet. What I can do instead...
Do you want me to use your one, mate? Should I just use that?
Should we just do how I've uploaded it?
Crap, isn't it? Sorry, excuse my language.
Okay, we're going to just try a different way.
Yeah. That'll do.
So let me just scroll back to the top. Okay, I think we're in. Cool.
Lovely stuff. Right. If everyone's good to go, then shall we?
Let's go.
Let's go. So Georgia said to me, what should we talk about? And writing is a big part of your marketing, a big part of running your business successfully. But practitioners aren't trained to write. They're trained to inject. You're trained as a medic, and you're not trained. You maybe haven't written since uni and you hate it, and you just palm it off to whoever you can, clinic managers, your other half, whoever's got a bit of a better grasp of the English language than you. Because your results are beautiful, but your copy really does need some work. And that can cause quite a lot of problems with some clinics. Because when patients step through the door, they're sold. But how can words help bring in more patients? So just again, hello, my name is Alex. I work for the Web Marketing Clinic. We're a specialist medical aesthetics marketing agency. We help clients get more leads, retain patients, have happier, healthier business, mostly by building great websites. That's what we do day to day. But then we also deliver award-winning marketing campaigns as well. So why does your use of language matter? Your use of language should be there to educate, inform, and inspire, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be just writing loads and loads and loads of sales copy. You want to educate patients and inform them. You want to inspire them, and you want those words to bring people to you, whether that's as a new patient, a retained patient, somebody going from 4 treatments a year, just 3 areas of toxin, all the way up to spending £1,000 a month with you. And words can do that, and words do that, because you can upsell or cross-sell treatments, and you can sell without selling. Words, you can use them to position yourself as an authority in the industry. Georgia will go a little bit more into that for me, I think, hopefully. But words really can bring your expertise across in a clear, a concise, and an authoritative way. Because you want to use words to tell your story, because there's so many medical aesthetics professionals setting up. The industry's booming. I know it's not at the minute, obviously, but it really is growing. We've seen it, but everybody's saying there's somebody setting up down the road. I'm in a busy area. How do I set myself apart? You've got to tell your story, not anyone else's, because you have your story. If you're cutting and pasting from manufacturers' leaflets, and they're giving you this device and they're saying, just put this on your website, you're not differentiating yourself. So you've really got to think about using words to tell your story and set yourself apart. It is a crowded marketplace. So the first, I've just got an email from Aesthetic Medicine. So the first tip that I always go to is to try and get people to generate their house style, which is a way of structuring your story almost, so that every time you write something, your language comes across as universal, uniform, and professional. You can best represent your brand if you've got a house style. You've always got a way of writing, whether it's a statement, a press release, a treatment page, a blog, a social media caption. Everything sounds like it's written by the same person, even if you're delegating some of these jobs to others. So in journalism, house style is very, very big. The most well-known one is the Guardian Observer Style Guide. I recommend people go and have a look at that just out of curiosity. But for a clinic, a house style should be more like the order of your content, how you represent your brands, how you lay your words out, your tone of voice, whether that's formal, informal, whether it's conversational, also how you utilize social proof, which is actually, I'm doing a 2-part article in the magazine this month and next month about social proof, which is things like before and afters, case studies, reviews. There's loads of extra stuff in the mag, so do go read about that and how you can use that to elevate your business. And also your house style should be differentiated perhaps for your blogs. It might not be, but your blogs can be more conversational or they can be more factual. So once you've got this house style and you say, right, I really need to work on my treatment pages at the minute, always have a plan. And that doesn't matter whether it's social media, treatment pages, it could be blogs, it could be newsletters, it could be anything. Because, and again, George will recognise this from uni, it's all about the inverted pyramid. In writing, you really want to get the essential information of your piece of copy at the top. So if somebody was to just look down and read the first couple of lines, they know everything that they need to know about this page or this newsletter or this social media post. So it's usually in news, it's the who, what, where, why, how, when. But in a treatment page, that could be 2 lines which summarises what the treatment is, who it's for, what the results are. Bang, you've got that information at the top. Then you come down into the additional information, which is useful but not essential. So if that first essential information has hooked somebody in and they've gone, okay, this is interesting to me, I'm going to carry on reading this, they go a little bit further down onto the page, onto the social media post, they hit read more. However they do it, they get that additional information. So that could be how long a treatment lasts, what it feels like, which practitioners in your clinic are delivering it, how many treatments you need for a result. Then you've got the least important information. Actually, in additional information, I'd also put booking information because that's really important. The least important information could be then some of those other FAQs. It could be pain level. It could be how long results last. It could be your before and afters, because by the time somebody's got that far down into your piece of text, they're pretty interested. If they've read that essential information, they've read that additional information. It'd be great if they can read that information at the bottom as well, but it's not as important. So you really need to build hierarchies for your different parts of copy and decide where you want people to read, what you want to tell them in 5 seconds. This says 2 seconds. I think maybe 5 seconds is enough. And then you want to work your way down the hierarchy of your content. So your treatment pages are there to educate, as I've said. And we all start with a plan. Now, I've got a template in a word processor, which is handily on my desktop, called treatment page template, which goes through everything that I need to ask a practitioner before I write a treatment page for them. I get them to fill this in. They fill it out in horrible notes, and I kind of jumble it into something a bit more legible. You can also do this on handwritten notes. This is an example I was doing for Profilo, where you can see there I've got the cell in a line, which is that bit that hooks you in, the new era injectable, which gives all of the glow with none of the fill. Now, whether you're welcome, I should sell that to HA Derma. So whether you're a word processor or you're old school, I actually really like handwriting my notes, my first draft of any copy down, just so that I get everything out there. And then you can go into typing things up. Your pages, your treatment pages need to be easy to read, but they also really need to be easy to skim, because we know from eye tracking on websites that people don't read every line. They kind of start in the top left, and then they'll look at the headlines first. They'll look at the headings. They'll see if anything catches their eye, and they'll just read in a really jumbled way. So you must always use headings and subheadings in your copy. And a way I've found, when people say to me, Alex, I don't know what to write. I've only got 200 words on this page about dermal fillers. And I'm like, you could write a treatment page that will help your search engine optimization that's got 2,000 words on it about dermal fillers. Like, there's so much to write about dermal fillers. And so I'll say, use your frequently asked questions. You know what you're asked all the time, whether that's at consultation, at inquiry, through social media. Answer your frequently asked questions, put them on your website. You can hide them in accordions. I should have given an example of what an accordion is, but it's where you click to expand the text. So if somebody's interested in reading that particular answer to the question, they click the question and they get the answer. This is a great place where you can perhaps do some research on other clinics' websites for inspiration, but please do not plagiarize, because your websites will be penalized by Google for copying and pasting. And if you've got then a full page of answers to loads of FAQs on whatever treatment you're being asked about, I would always recommend having that as a link handy to send to people. If they send you a question on social media saying, how long do fillers last in my nose? You can send them your dermal filler FAQs page as a link, as well as answering the question in the DM. Send them that link as well, because you're getting more website traffic, which means more authority from Google, which means you're going to go higher up the rankings. So if you're really struggling for content, what can I write? Frequently asked questions are a great place to look at. I mentioned social proof earlier. I would always recommend before and afters if they're good, if they're well lit, if they clearly show a result. Testimonials, videos, product facts, stats, and awards. Again, this is all stuff that can flesh out these treatment pages, going from 200 words to 1,500 words. Really, really useful way of doing it. And like I said, it's in Aesthetic Medicine magazine this month, and I'm going to do a second part next month if Georgia ever sends me the follow-up. Just saying, darling. I've called you out live now. And another bugbear of mine is I will read a great piece of text from a practitioner who has written this beautiful piece about a specific treatment, got all the essential information in there. They've hooked me in. I've gone a bit deeper into the copy, got to the end, and nothing. That's it. Maybe they've written their name at the bottom. What do I do? What do I do with this information? So people always like to be told what to do. You need to use calls to action. Whether that calls to action is you want them to contact you, whether you want to book a consultation, whether you want them to read, whether you want them to share, whether you want them to follow you on Instagram for more information, you've always got to include calls to action throughout your text, especially online, because there's no point in writing this great copy and then hoping that somebody will navigate from your page, hit your contact us button, then fill in the form, then hit send. That's a lot of extra steps when you could just have your booking form, your contact form at the bottom of your page. Super simple. They've just got to type in their name, email address, phone number. You already know because it's on that page that they're interested in that treatment. So you don't have to ask them what treatment they're interested in. You just pop that info in there, request a call back. However you're going to do it, always make it as simple as possible for people to get in touch with you. Really quickly about your blogs. I'm happy to take questions on blogs. I could have gone into this all day, which is why I decided to flip it on its head and do one slide about blogs. Because a lot of the same rules apply. They're great for educating patients. At the end of the day, that's what we're all here to do. We're here to educate our patients so that they can feel more comfortable, happy in their own body, to come in to get a treatment. They feel safe, they feel valued by you, they trust you, you're standing out as an authority, you're standing out from the crowd of all the other clinics down the road, up the road, you know, in the next postcode. That is why a blog is great. Part one. Part two, why a blog is great is because you can fill your social media feed. It means you're stealing less assets from Juvederm and Hydrofacial when you think, oh my God, I've not posted in 4 days on social. What should I post? Oh, just cut and paste this image that I've been provided by Juvederm, because that image has been posted by 15 other practitioners in the last 4 days. People that have seen it are getting weary to it. Using your original content, your blogs, great way. You take the main image of your blog, post it on your social media feeds, little summary, that essential information. You can distill what that blog is going to teach people or share in the caption, send them to the link to your website to read the whole thing. Easy way of filling social media feeds. I've got some clients that do 2 blogs a month. I've got some clients that do 2 blogs a week. Okay, so really, really, really useful. And of course, if you're like me, you love a bit of search engine optimization. You want to climb higher in the ranks when people search for dermal fillers in Oxford. It's a great way of showing that your website is active. It's a great way of ranking for keywords. So really recommend blogs. So, and then people will go, yeah, but what do I write about? So you can either commission agencies like ourselves to write your blogs for you, and you can get in touch if you're interested in that. But just create content, case studies, answer questions more in depth than on your treatment pages. Again, it could be these FAQs. What are people asking me all the time? What great case studies have I got coming out? Just pop them in a blog. 400, 500 words. That'll take you, in theory, an hour and a half to write. And that's me and Georgia on a lazy day. Hour and a half, yeah, for a page in Word. Bam, 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 bam. Send it to someone. Always, always, always proofread it. Send it to a peer or someone you trust to just go through it, get it online. Simple as. And blogs can always take a more conversational tone, a bit like social media, where you feel like you're part of a conversation rather than just laying out the facts maybe on a treatment page. So social media captions. I really don't like talking about social media anymore because I feel like there are a lot of people out there that stick to what they've got. They're very prescriptive. There's a lot of different schools of thought with social media that say you must do this, you mustn't do this, you must go live, you mustn't do that, and it's all just very overwhelming. We do what works for our clients, and so I'll give you a couple of pieces of the advice there. The first one is be social. People are on social media to hold conversations at the end of the day. So always make yourself a part of this conversation. Reply to your comments. If people have taken the time, the 10 to 12 seconds it takes to comment, great result, on your Instagram post of a before and after with a lovely case study about how this patient came to you for XYZ and now she's like the happiest woman in the world. You've written this beautiful, engaging piece of content and now you're not replying to your comments. I just think that's rude. And actually, if you reply to your comments, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, you're showing that you engage back and you're going to get more authority with the social media algorithms. So always reply to your comments, please, guys. Every time you post, ask yourself, if I saw this in my feed, would I engage? Not with this plain slide, you wouldn't, because this is boring. This is the worst slide in this presentation. But ask yourself before you post, is the image engaging? Is the caption engaging? Would I engage with this if I saw it in my feed? If not, you need to fix it. How you fix it, it could be the pictures, it could be adding some emojis in to the captions, it could be breaking the text apart. So if you've just written one paragraph text, putting in line spaces to make it easier to read, easier to flow. Always think, as I've said, one of the crux of this talk is that inverted pyramid. The essential information is at the top. You've stopped people scrolling. They're scrolling through their feed. You've actually made them stop with the image. They've read the first line. They're going to hit see more. Then they're going to engage. That's the process of social media. So would I engage with it? Always use your voice. Again, we've talked about house style. Use your voice. Define your audience. You're not talking to everybody on social media. There's billions of people on billions of accounts across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. So define your audience. If you haven't created a brand persona of your ideal patients, then that might be an exercise to do whilst you've got the time. And make content for them, because then now you've got these brand personas, you know what they like, what they want to hear from you, what they eat, what they share, what they need. You've got this idea of this caricature in your head. Make content specifically for them and you're going to get more engagement, and that's down to the words as well. The most important part of words and social media captions is deliver value. Whatever your caption does, it needs to deliver value. If you're just posting boring sales posts, boring, you can buy this skincare product from my clinic, you're not going to get engagement as much. And at the end of the day, that's what you're there to do. You're there to build trust. So deliver value, teach something, solve a problem, help someone make or save money, save time, make things easier, or just entertain. Now, it doesn't mean you can't not sell on social media, but you've just got to be a bit more smart about it. So you're delivering a lot of value on your social feeds, but then maybe in the stories you say, hey, I've got this in stock, here's the link to buy. You deliver a lot of value, but then in the call to action in this great piece of social media caption at the bottom is book a consultation if you want to learn more. So you're not just sell on social media. You're delivering value, educating, or you're saving people time and money, and then you can ask for the sale. And if in doubt, keep it brief, because if you think, oh my God, I've written like 500 words on this Facebook post, and you're exhausted reading it, cut it down. Distill that as essential information at the top. And then if you're not sure, just link them to a treatment page. Pardon me, link them to a contact page. Keep it brief. The first 125 characters are key. Make that hook. Because on Instagram, you will scroll through your feed, living a dream, somebody's bored at work, they follow a few practitioners, they see something interesting, they stop, they read those first 125 characters, then they hit more, and that's when they get more information. So if your first 125 characters on an Instagram post or a Facebook post or Twitter, whatever, obviously Twitter used to be 140 characters, it's now 280, but if your first line doesn't make someone go, oh, okay, this is interesting, and hit read more, then you've lost them, because they don't get the whole message, they don't engage. So always, that first 125 characters are key. Make the hook. Again, we're going back to always that inverted pyramid. This is how we write great copy, whether it's for treatment pages, social media, blogs, doesn't matter. Next slide. So Georgia, my darling, tell me about writing press releases and editorial. Obviously, two different things, but what do you want to see? What don't you want to see? How should people write for you?
Yeah, so there's tons and tons we could say about this specifically. But I think there are a few main things that are just kind of bugbears of mine that are probably shared by most journalists as well when we get something in our inboxes and someone gets in touch with us about, news or something that they'd like us to write about. So I'll just mention some of them. First, just to hark back to when Alex was talking about having a house style, I think that is definitely something to look at doing. And when you have a look at the Guardian Observer house style, which is what ours is kind of based off of as well, there's tons there.
It's so big.
Yeah, but the main things I would say, just as long as you have consistency, like Alex was saying, across all your copy, that's the main thing. But have a look and develop your way that you write certain words. If there's a few different, I always think, even with things like in aesthetics specifically, something that kind of niggles me is when people refer to use Botox for like the kind of the name when you're talking about any kind of toxin, and we know that Botox is a brand name and we shouldn't be using that unless we're talking about Allergan's Botox. But write botulinum toxin in lowercase, things like that. But and again, that comes back to showing your authority and showing that you know what you're talking about. But have that for all sorts of words and phrases that you're going to be using a lot. Sorry, my dog's barking. Keep that consistency. Develop your own house style with important things. Make sure you're using grammar and punctuation correctly. That is so important. And I know a lot of people don't think it's important. To me, it's the most important thing in the world because I'm a journalist. I understand it's the same for everyone, but it really comes down to professionalism. Yes, you need to be good at what you do day to day, but you also really need to have a good grasp of English and grammar and punctuation.
I will go into 3 great tools that you need for your writing after you've spoken.
Yeah. Make sure, make the effort, take time to make sure that you're coming across as a professional and that you're educated and that you care about how you communicate with your clients, because otherwise it just looks sloppy.
Yeah.
So when it comes to I'll try and make this brief, but
yes, fine, mate. It's all useful.
Yeah. No, I know. I hope so. So when it comes to writing a press release, perhaps you don't use a PR service yet, or you don't have the budget for it, or you've done it and it hasn't worked for you, or you're working up to it, you just want to gauge interest and see how it would work. If you're doing PR for yourself, and you're wanting to get in touch with media outlets, the most important thing is to really stop and think, what is the angle? What are you trying to say? And who do you want to say it to? Because when I've had press releases in the past, so aesthetic medicine, we're a trade, as you all know, we're a trade title. So when I get press releases or people email me with an angle or something they'd like me to write about, and it's aimed at consumers, I don't write for consumers. And that to me just shows that you haven't done your research, and you don't know what I do, so you don't know who you want to talk to. You haven't bothered to take the time to find out who my readers are and what my platform is, and I can't use it. So it's kind of a waste of everyone's time. So think about it like whatever it is that you want to talk about, who do you want the final reader to be? Because if your ultimate goal is to get patients through your clinic doors, then you might want to be writing straight to consumers, in which case you would contact consumer media, whether it's local, national, whatever. If you want to talk about something, so if you were approaching me for something for aesthetic medicine, yes, your ultimate goal might be to get patients through the door, but you might want to approach it in a different way via skill and knowledge sharing with your peers and your colleagues, building your profile in the industry, showing off your lovely new clinic, talking about some clinical research that you've been a part of or a paper you've helped write. You might have started doing a combination treatment in clinic that has been getting amazing results for your patients, enhancing existing technology that you want to talk about and share to ultimately raise standards in the industry, contribute towards best practice. Those are the kind of things that you would contact us for. And quite often, because in aesthetics, because we are quite a niche, small industry, and there are only a few trade titles, actually, if your ultimate goal is to be featured in Vogue or Glamour, OK Online, whatever it is, but those consumer media titles, quite often a good way to actually do that is if you start building your profile in the industry and through outlets like us, that you will get noticed by those other publications, by those consumer mags, and ultimately consumers who read those mags.
That's because you can make a media card, right? And say, when you approach these consumer mags, you can say, I've already featured in A, B, C, D.
And it also shows that because we are kind of the voice of the industry, we will only feature and work with the best, or people who's, when I say the best, I don't mean the big international executives and the big chains. I mean people who are good at what they do and who are building their profile and they're doing something different and interesting and contributing to the industry. We will choose to work with you, and we'll choose to feature you, and we'll ask you to contribute to the magazine. And that is respected on a kind of larger scale. So yeah, and like Alex said, if you have already been featured in trade or local media, that those are all stepping stones towards getting into those big mags.
100%.
But don't just look at those big mags as the ultimate goal, because there's a lot to be said for. You don't just want to go straight to, I want to get the patients in the door. Think about how you can show your USPs, what you're really good at, what sets you apart, your expertise, your training, your skills, your amazing staff, all those little things. Be specific about your angle when you contact someone. And it's like what Alex was saying about the inverted pyramid, which is what we use to write news stories, but use that as well when you're pitching. I should know what you want to talk to me about in the subject line of your email. I shouldn't have to scroll down to be like, what's this person trying to tell me? Or like, what is their USP? Or when did this happen? What is it? Where? You should tell me that information straight away. A lot of journalists don't have time to come back to you and be like, oh, can you tell me more information? I don't understand this. So be really clear straight away, be specific, use the inverted news pyramid structure again. Also, what was I had a really good point then. It might come back to me. Yes, be specific. Oh no, that's what I was going to say. If it's a little bit different, if you were, obviously we really welcome practitioners and clinicians and to get in touch with us if they want to write something, if they'd like to write something for us, or if they just kind of say, oh, my skills in this area, like I'd love to write for you about it. That's slightly different, because if you were thinking about pitching something like that to me, then I would really welcome just a kind of ad hoc email to get in touch, and then we can kind of take it from there and develop an idea, perhaps.
That's how I did it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Basically.
Pestered me for ages. No, I'm joking. But even then, even in that case, if you're contacting on a kind of ad hoc basis just to be an expert and share your skills and expertise, it doesn't hurt just to pop in like just be clear about yourself. So like, for example, I might want to know if you are a medic. You know, there are certain instances where I'm like, it'd be great for someone to write about that, but obviously I want to make sure that you're a medic if you're talking about something like injectables. Where you studied, your kind of awards, anything like that. Just again, so as soon as you're getting in touch with someone, you're presenting them with all of your USBs, all of your attributes. You can touch with a link to your socials, all of those things that just make it easier for that person, that journalist, to establish that you do know what you're talking about and you are legit. I'm going to hurry up a little bit because we've got a few questions. But but yeah, I think when it comes to writing press releases or getting in touch, as well as the content and what it actually is, you need to just, so for example, I've in the past, I've had emails from when I worked more on the beauty side of our business and our professional beauty titles. Sometimes I'd get emails that were saying, hiya, my salon is 5 years old, can you write about it? And I'm like, a lot of salons are 5 years old, so you need to make it interesting, have an angle, be clear, and also think to yourself, like, would I want to read that? Because if you wouldn't want to read about a random salon or a random clinic having a 5th birthday, no one else is going to want to either. So you need to offer something interesting. And it also doesn't hurt to say, you could always get in touch with something and you can be like, I'm not really sure if this would be for you. I wanted to reach out and let you know anyway. If not, it would be great if you wanted to do work on X, Y, and Z with me. This is what I specialize in. This is why I think it's a milestone, particularly that my clinic is 5 years old. You know, it might be because we've just gone through a load of hardship, or we didn't think we'd make it, and we had problems with our building, and then we kind of clawed it back, or anything like that makes it interesting. If not, it's fine to just say, I wanted to get in touch. This has just happened. If not, I'd love to write for you. I'd love to share my expertise, comment, blah, blah. And contact info, be polite, be humble, use your grammar and spelling correctly, as I said. I always prefer emails, as I think a lot of journalists do. We often don't really have time to be on the phone for ages. I'm absolutely fine with people calling me if we're kind of in the middle of sorting something out and I've said, I'll get back to you, and I haven't done, which always happens, as Alex knows, because I'm busy. Then a little phone call is fine, but don't bombard someone. Don't, be emailing, DMing on the social, phoning. Don't do all of that, because it's just too much, and you don't want to leave a kind of bitter taste in someone's mouth if they, you don't want to put them off approaching you for things in the future.
Yeah.
Also, images. If you are sending, always send images. First and foremost, just send images. It's kind of irritating sometimes for someone to say, let me know if you want pics. I get that it's something that PRs often do, and that's because they'd like to know that you're interested, and often they have to, they'll have a coverage calendar and they'll feed back to their client and things like that. So it's a little bit different, but just attach some really nice images of your clinic, or if you're talking about a combo treatment that you've started offering, or a signature treatment, attach some pics of you doing it. Your staff, whatever it is, if you've got images to go along with it, attach them. Make sure they're high resolution, because for print we need that. So we tend to say, I'm probably going to get this wrong, we tend to say about 1 megabyte file size as like a minimum. You can always just ask, let me know if these images are high res enough or not. We may kind of go back to you and say, have you got the original file? Because often if you just drag something off of a social media, it's not going to be big enough for print resolution. So it's just going to be really pixelated and it's just going to look rubbish. So attach images, get them in as high resolution as you can. If someone comes back to you and says, this is great, can I have this? Have you got high res pics? If you can prioritize making that happen as quick as possible, that's fab, because quite often we're on deadline and we're a bit stressed and we just need that. We need that to be coming through. Otherwise, if you're not responding quick enough, unfortunately, that might get dropped and replaced with something else. So yeah, definitely images. Oh, what else would I say? Oh, but just also, if you're not sure how to write a press release, and it doesn't need to be long, it really doesn't need to be long. You don't need to write a whole press release about every single thing. If you're not sure how to do it, or you're a bit intimidated by it, it's fine sometimes to get in touch and be like, basic top line info, but key top line info, like we've been saying. And then just ask, I didn't know how much detail you'd want about this, but I've got this idea. These are the basic points about it. Are you interested? And I can,
because you'll always ask questions, won't you? Exactly. If you need them.
We'll always ask questions. Our job is to ask questions, is to edit it, and is to make something sound great and appropriate to our audience as well. Quite often contributors will be like, I'm not the best writer. And I'll be like, it's fine. I'll send you some questions. You'll answer them. We'll do it in bullet point style. And my job is to edit it and to put it into house style. So don't be intimidated by it. Don't, it's not a whole massive thing. Just.
Everyone can do it though, can't they? I think a lot of people think I'm not this superstar, so I can't get column inches in the trade press, in my local press, I'm not the best injector in my area, anything like that. But anyone really can write for the press.
And the last thing I'll say, because I know we've got questions for Alex.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, just on that, please don't think that because you're not the best injector, you don't have that profile already, or you're not a KOL yet, or your clinic isn't a super fancy, like shiny on Harley Street. Please don't let that put you off, because something that I'm trying to do with AM, especially because I'm kind of fairly new to the role, is I want to feature kind of lone nurse prescribers and injectors, and I want to feature clinics outside of London. And you don't have to have a massive budget. You don't have to have all the kind of sparkly, flashy stuff. If you're good at what you do and you love what you do and you've got something to offer the industry and your peers, like, we will give you a platform, and we'll work with you on something to build your profile and get your name out there, because we need to keep the industry growing. We need to keep new faces coming in. We need to keep, we need to be looking at what new brands are doing and different technology and stuff. But that goes for the people as well in the industry, the practitioners. And quite often with us, especially, that might lead to you, if you want to speak at one of our shows, or you want to be on a conference program, or do something like this with us. So we will take a chance on people who we think are doing really great things in the industry. And I am very aware that our industry is far more than top injectors who are KOLing and flying around the world and just speaking all the time. Like, our industry is people who are injecting every day, dealing with real patients every day, real complications, and there's
more of them than there are of
absolutely
the megastars.
Yeah, absolutely. So if, just to kind of wrap up my little bit, because I can talk for ages, if you've been thinking maybe about getting in touch with AM, or there's anything that you would really like to talk to us about, be featured or contribute, please do get in touch. I want newness, lots of newness and exciting things in the industry going on. We want to keep it evolving and moving and making it better and better and better. So if you want to get in touch with me about anything, and also if you want more advice on this press release or editorial writing stuff, I'll help you. So my email is georgia@aestheticmed.co.uk. So that's georgia@aestheticmed.co.uk. And my colleague's going to tell me to wrap up in a minute, so I'm going to shut up and I'm going to ask Alex some questions.
Can I just share 3 really simple tools that people need to use?
Please do.
Give me 2 minutes. So if you're writing and you're not confident in your writing, this is a great way. 3 tools that you need to help elevate your writing. First one is Grammarly. I live on this tool every single day. It's free for the basic version. It checks grammar conciseness. You can also then upgrade to Grammarly Premium, which I would recommend. It's about 70 quid for the year. It comes as a phone app and laptop app. It will integrate with your email, so your emails sound on point. It's brilliant. Grammarly Premium also has plagiarism detection, which is really useful if you are erring on the side of caution. But I will say, for some treatments, there's only so many ways that you can say a certain thing. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if you want clarity, great grammar, engagement, delivery, Grammarly Premium is brilliant. Second one, let's make 2020 the year people stop pasting links in Instagram captions. If you want more than one link in your bio, use something like Linktree. It means that people can click that link and then offer a list of links for people to click. You keep them rotating. I use them for our website, event registrations, latest articles. Let's make these captions seem professional by not posting links in Instagram captions. The third and final one is Answer the Public, where people say, I don't know what to write about. You'll never, ever run out of content ideas ever again. If you type in dermal fillers, chemical peels, whatever treatment, whatever treatment, skin concern, question, you type in the name of a thing into Answer the Public. That's answerthepublic.com, I believe. And it will give you this flower style where questions that are being typed into Google are displayed so that you can go through and write a social media post, a blog, treatment page, an FAQ section about anything. Answer the Public is brilliant for that. Google Trends is also great for keyword research as well. So there's a little bonus one. A great guy called Seth Godin said, make things better by making better things. And I think that speaks for writing, aesthetics, and everything. So if you've got any questions, we're going to take a couple now. Any other questions, follow us on Instagram. I'm at Web Marketing Clinic. Obviously, aesthetic medicine is at aesthetic_med live, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I tweet you. I tag you in a lot of stuff.
That should do.
You are free also to get in touch if you want a new clinic website, content writing, other marketing bits and bobs. You can get in touch with us. Here is our contact cards. And yeah, any questions? Real quick?
Yeah, there are some questions.
Okay, cool.
Do a few. Okay, so let me just have a look. So someone has asked, can they write FAQs about prescription only medicines in a blog? I think if in doubt, check with your supplier, check with your manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
But then, having said that, lots of people who offer toxin injections, like anti-wrinkle injections. Do you know what? Before I say this, let me say the ASA brought out some guidelines about this recently. There's a story on the Aesthetic Medicine website, and I will, this is being streamed on Facebook. I will post a link to that under this video on Facebook and have a look, because I don't want to say something that might get me in trouble. You need to adhere to the ASA guidelines.
Yeah.
Like I said, so there are certain things you can say and you can't say. Like I said, someone else has asked, can we use botulinum toxin on our site if it's an educational piece and not advertising? Again, check. My thing with that is that make sure whatever brand of toxin you're using, don't just call it Botox with a capital B, because that in itself is a brand name. So anything like that, I'll post this link. Just check the ASA guidelines. You want to be safe rather than sorry. And it may be a case that if someone's inquiring, you can encourage people to inquire and you can give them information. You just don't want to be seen to be advertising with prescription only meds, as we know.
Here's what I'm going to say about that. Everybody wants to educate and they want to say, can I post about this? If it's educational, I'm not posting it on social media because the ASA have said absolutely nothing on social media. Don't use the hashtag. That's fine. Yeah. If you want to post, people are posting about it on their blogs in an educational way. Do you want to post? Do you not want to post? At the end of the day, people that want to do it are doing it. So I would always say follow the guidelines. If in doubt, probably shouldn't. If you think, oh, this is a bit sketch, post it. But people are posting what they want to post, which may or may not include educational blogs around Botox. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll post that link. Have a look at that.
Post that link.
Get in touch with your supplier as well. They should give you the good information. Yes, I will just type my email address in there in a sec. Alex, for you, let's just do. Okay, yeah, cool. So someone has said I personally don't follow blogs as I find them too time consuming. So they've asked who does follow them, but I guess more Alex. This person is asking how to keep your content fresh but relevant. That's what I did there. So that people don't follow another blog.
Keeping content fresh and relevant. You can hide your blog on your website if you really must and just want to use it to farm clicks from search engines. That's fine. If you want to actually make a double use of that content, I would give it a theme maybe. So you'd offer people the chance to send in questions themselves, or you'd film it as a video and then get it transcribed. There's a great service called rev.com where you can get video transcribed for $1 a minute. So then you get the text benefits for your website, but you get the video benefits for your social media perhaps, or YouTube. Great place to vlog. Keeping it fresh and relevant is really just about what is fresh and relevant in your business. Have you gone on a new training course? You now offer a new skin booster. You now offer a new device. You want to answer those questions that you think you want to anticipate what people are going to come to you about, or having a really, really, really detailed expert concerns blog, I think, is another way to keep things relevant, because people are always going to search for skin concerns they have, like what is this bit of red that I've got here, what does this mean? And putting things out in plain language rather than medico speak that you will get on things like the NHS website is really useful if you think that you're going to be able to offer insight, treatment solutions perhaps, but maybe even just some advice. That's how I keep blogs fresh and relevant, in my opinion.
Yeah, and also it's like we were saying as well, what you think is interesting is often not what other people think is interesting. So just make sure, think what do my patients want to know? Like I said,
yeah,
you now
ask them.
Yeah,
ask your patients.
Yeah, but something like having been on training that you can now offer this treatment, cool. People want to know that, but they won't necessarily want to know about how to look after your skin in winter, because that content's everywhere. And I don't know whether you would agree, Alex, but I would kind of say don't post for the sake of it. But
yeah, but if you're gonna commit to writing a blog for your website, you want that extra traffic. Yeah. I would have a content schedule and say I'm going to post twice a month. In the spring, I'm going to post about skincare. In the summer, I'm going to post about injectables. In the autumn, I'm going to post about complementary treatments. And in the winter, you know what I mean? Like have an idea, maybe have a theme, maybe don't. If FAQ blogs are always going to be useful, even if they're super boring, you don't want to post them on social media, but you want to put them on your website so that if somebody asks something, you can send them to your website rather than just answering the question and keeping them on your social page. You want people to go to your website. There's so many benefits. You get Facebook pixel tracking. If you want to advertise on Facebook, you get more hits on your website. It's easy for you to contact them on there. So that's a great way of doing like a boring FAQ blog. But
I think
different things work for different people.
Yeah, but I think I just mean definitely just always keep coming back to that thing of like, what do my patients want to read? If you're going to write about something fairly generic, like skincare tips or whatever, add something to it. Like add something to it that comes from you. Add a little video, do a little demo.
100%.
Just don't regurgitate, moisturize if your skin's dry. I'm being silly, but you know what I mean. Alex, we're going to have to wrap up, but there are just a few little people just asking for more info. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to post these extra bits of questions and info that's coming in under this video on Facebook, and Alex can go in and answer.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. So you've got our info. Alex, which is the page, the link or page to read more about video conversion of blogs? Did you mention, you just said something about
rev.com, where you can get your videos transcribed. I would always have this read more, see more, to send people to their blog or your YouTube channel, and then using that to direct traffic to your website.
Cool. Okay. We will have to wrap up. Let me just.
Okay.
I'm just trying to quickly copy and paste these questions.
That's cool. I can read some of them if you want.
No, it's cool. I'm just gonna, and then I'll post them on Facebook because my colleague Lucy's shouting at me to wrap up.
We knew this would happen.
Yeah, exactly.
We knew this would happen.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Alex. That was brilliant.
It's been brilliant. I hope you've got something useful out of it.
Yeah, same. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me as well. I'm not a pro like Alex. I was just kind of
definitely not a pro. Definitely. Take care, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.